Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For anyone that might be new here, what we typically do is go over news in the crypto space. I update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's here in the chat, and then we'll get into this. Mr. Tim I Am Crypto, good to see you, buddy. Lawnmower Man, Leo Lustig, hey, appreciate the shirt you sent me. I haven't opened it yet, but I did peek in. I actually forgot it's on the counter. I'll go get it at the end of the show, and I'll open it up live. Let's see, Mr. Will Wyman in the chat. DJ Minds, my man, appreciate you.
Perfect.
He's freaking out about no content. Wait a minute, is Panda still not putting no content? What's going on there? What's going on? Is he still not dropping videos? I haven't noticed, to be honest. I've been so out of touch with YouTube the last couple days. It's been killing me. Let's see, Jim C, good morning, sir. Good to see you. Overboard Tech, my man, appreciate you. Midwest Mining, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Steven Cicero, All Track, what's up, dude? Good to see you. All for you miners, Rob Mines, good morning. All right, everybody else I may have missed, I apologize. Let's get into this. We have Bitcoin 63,974. We wicked down to like 60k at one point, I believe, last night, if I'm not mistaken. It was either last night or yesterday, but nonetheless, we wicked down to around 60, which is pretty good for limit orders, right? I mean, listen, guys, everybody's panicking, right? We're having a small pullback. This is not a big deal. All right, there's a lot of like bullshit on YouTube, and that's kind of half the reason I like watching the shit, just because people are like insta panic, and it's just, you know, it's the beginning of the bull run when people are already freaking out about stupid little pullbacks. Like, this is the time you jump back in. All right, if you missed purchasing some, now's the time to get it, because once the halving happens, I mean, I'm sure the cycle is going to remain. It's gonna pump, right? It's a normal shakeout. Exactly. Thank you, Nismo. All right, Ethereum 33.29. Again, we saw a $4,000 Ethereum at one point. The ETF is the approval is coming in May, or disapproval is coming in May, right? So they're going to be getting an answer on that. I'm assuming it's going to get pushed out a little bit further, but Ethereum has a lot more room to grow, at least in my opinion. Solana, we actually saw Solana up over 200 bucks, if I'm not mistaken, or close to 200 the past couple days. We have LTC right now, it's at 174, by the way. LTC is at $81, not looking too bad. Dogecoin's at 13.5 cents. Honestly, everything is, I think, climbing back up out of its hole. It's really not too bad. Casper went down to 11 cents yesterday. It's at 12.5 as of right now. I got some more yesterday. I don't know if you guys did, but man, this was like a flash sale, fire sale for everything yesterday, at least in my opinion. If it continues to go down, oh well, buy more. That's my opinion. You guys do what you will. All right, let's jump over to crypto bubbles. I have a lot of things I want to watch today because I haven't had a chance to catch up in the space. All right, let's see. Starknet looks like it is up 11.1% on the day, up 6 ranks into rank 66, $2.06. We have Pepe up 11.9% today, up to let's see, rank 40. Wow, I'm still shocked this coin's holding really well, up in the 40th position. That's crazy. Or just in like the top 50. It's been nuts. Let's see, KuCoin's token 9.8% up today. We have Dog Whiff Hat down 11.4%. I will laugh every single time I read that. Fetch AI looks like it is up 5.9% today at $2.61. We have Arbitrum up 9.2% today to $1.70. You know what's actually, this Dog Whiff Hat friggin' meme coin, like, I'm still shocked it's at $2. Is anybody else? Is it just me? That's at $2.17. It's still ranked 55, even though it's down 11.4%. Crazy. I looked into getting some yesterday because I knew everything was having a pullback, and I was like, nah, I'm not buying into that. That's way too expensive for a freaking meme coin. Hell no. Nope, not doing it. Can't do it. Let's see, DYDX looks like this is up 5.6% today, up 1 rank to 65, $3.29. Honestly, nothing else really pops out at me. I mean, we have Bonk over here, up 1 rank, up 5.2% today. It did take a bit of a pullback yesterday, or this morning even. Interesting. OP is up almost 10%, which is Optimism, $3.52, ranked 36. Yeah, guys, that's really gonna be it. Really nothing else. 0x Protocol, ranked 95. It actually moved 3 ranks up to $1.20. Nothing too crazy. All right, flashbang, here we go. Fear and Greed Index, look at this, 74. This is what we're looking for when things start dropping under 75. That's when I usually, in the bull run, that's typically when things start to turn around. People start going from extreme greed to just greedy, and then you might see a little bit more on this needle. But once it starts getting around here, man, that's when I start wanting to get back in, because you know things are gonna pop off and go nuts again. And even if they don't, listen, just DCA in. It's the best option there is, just my opinion. Good morning, Miss Pocket Change. I'm exhausted as well. All right, let's see. Top 10 coins over here by coin market cap on CoinGecko. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BMD, Solana, XRP, Lido Staked, Ether, USDC, Cardano. Avalanche is in 10th place. Avalanche flipped Dogecoin again. It's holding it by about $1 billion, or a little less actually. And yeah, I'm assuming they're gonna keep playing you know, roles reversing over here. 10th and 11th. And Shiba, I'm still completely stunned that it's holding in 12th place. I think this is gonna have another run up for some stupid reasons. I think they're burning tokens or some shit. Does anybody hold Shiba? I do, but I'm just waiting to dump it. I'm waiting to dump it, so please pump this coin. Oh my god, I've been holding it for like 3 years. I should have sold out last push up, but you know what, I'm like, you know what, this thing has legs clearly, because it's still it was around the last bull run and it's still here, and it's just stunning to me, to be honest. Anyways, let's continue down and see Litecoin in 22nd place again, 80 something dollars, $81. We have ETC at 32, or in 32nd place, or rather at $28.73. Again, Hedera HBAR, I actually bought some of this yesterday, swapped some USDT into it on the Tangem wallet. Shout out to Tangem if you guys are interested, links in the description. But man, that swap feature is freaking awesome, and they just added Hedera to their platform, so it's easy to hold now, which is fantastic. And I can't wait for them to get Dynex and all these other coins on to their wallet, so I can just use it for everything. It's just amazing. Caspa, again, I used Tangem to swap into more Caspa yesterday as well. It was at 11 cents when I got it. It's at 12.38 as of right now. I think Caspa, we're gonna see this coin completely mined out by 2036. I think it's I don't know, it's just stupid fast. I think it has room to grow. All-time high was only 29 days ago. This coin has never seen a bull run. Don't forget, alt season, this thing is yeah, I don't know, my opinion, we're gonna see high prices on Caspa. Let's see how's our Ponzi doing today. ETC power is slowly dying. Looks like no one's buying into it anymore. Terrible. I did get into this, and then I just shut it off. I took a loss on it. I'm not gonna support a project like that. I didn't realize it was that shitty, to be honest. Let's see, if Baby Doge goes to 1 cent, I'm 100 millionaire. Charles Harris, B2. I think I have 11 billion Baby Doge. I mined it for a day with all my rigs back in the day. Let's see. All right, nothing else really popping out at me. Actually, how is the lithium doing in Pyron? I know Pyron is doing pretty well yesterday. Let's check out Pyron, actually. Pyron, oh my god, this thing's actually still doing pretty good. Look at this. That's 17 cents, 17 and a half cents. Damn. Shout out to everybody that's into Pyron. I'm actually mining this over to unminable to get Caspa, my GPU rigs. I was mining lithium, and yesterday during the stream I started changing all my flight sheets because lithium's $1 down from where it was, and Pyron's actually still killing it. So as you can see, it was 381 and now it's down to 244. So it's looking I mean, guys, listen, this is a normal pullback. It's kind of like Caspa, right? It's having a pullback. Everything has a pullback at some point. All right, it's got to build its foundation before it can blast off again, right? So just please stop panicking, everybody. It's just driving me nuts. There's so many freaking people on YouTube that are just like killing things, saying like everyone's panicking. It's just like, oh my god, the sentiment in the market's terrible right now. But anyways, all right, let's move on to the mining segment of things. We're gonna see what the most profitable miner is today. You guys know I like to timestamp this stuff. Again, looking at the Bitmain Antminer KS5 Pro 21 terahash unit, making $145 a day. Again, all debating on where the price of Caspa is at 12 cents. It's yeah, less than it usually is. Usually around $200 or something a day. But again, the emission schedule also takes a little bit off every single month for Caspa, if you guys don't know. So these prices are going to go down slowly. KS5 20 terahash unit making $138 a day. We have the BMKS Max 11 terahash unit making $68. The Windminer K9 making $66.94 a day. Looks like the KS3M from Ice River is making $50 a day, and the just the original KS3 is making $50 a day from Ice River, and the KS3M from Ice River is making $35 a day. Let's see, anything else that we want to look at? Superscalar K10 looks like Carlson. How's Carlson doing? Actually, Carlson's still Let's see. Oh, it's actually having a little I'm like a little bit of a jump. It's still a penny. I thought it was gonna be way more. What's Carlson's all-time high? 95% down 3 months ago. Jeez, this thing hit $27.
Bruh.
What happened? What happened to Carlson? Carlson's dead. Everything's dead. What's happening? What is happening? There's so many Caspa forks. It's crazy though. It really is. All right, Bitmain, Antminer, L7, my 9050 down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to them. 10 cents kilowatt hour is the profit here at $10.70 a day. I'll take that all day. Absolutely amazing. And you know what, these L7s, man, I wish I had more of them. I really do, because I love Litecoin and I love Dogecoin. They're two of the coins that I hold. I really wish I invested into more of these units. I do kind of want to get another one. They're just, I don't know, but at the same time, it's like I kind of want to wait for the next version too, right? Like, are they going to come out with the L9 or not? Who knows? What do you guys think? Max voltage, fire sale on crypto. I'm taking advantage. Hope it will last a while. Last chance, in my honest opinion. I believe you, sir. Me too. I actually put in a bunch of limit orders today, just before the stream started. That's kind of why I was a little late, because I was trying to set myself up in case we have some dips today, because I'm assuming we're going to have some wicks down again, but we'll see. All right, Jazzminer X16Q. You guys know I got this thing upstairs heating my house still. It's actually getting kind of warm. It's warming up my garage, but I'm gonna have to be unplugging these and moving them to the trailer at some point. But I am mining ETC going into Caspa at this current moment. ETHW and ZIL is actually most profitable at $6.91. We have the KS1 1 terahash unit making $5.75 a day. The KS2 I actually skipped over is making $11.66 a day. Let's see. The Ice River KS0 Pro making $1.20 a day. This is still actually pretty good. It really is for 100 watts, or not even, I don't know, like 90. It's still really good. I have 8 of them running here, and I got the original KS0 wherever that is. Let's see. KS0 original making 56 cents a day. These things are only running at like 60 watts, if that, like 50 something watts. But yeah, nonetheless, I wouldn't buy them right now personally. I would just put the money into Caspa. If you're going to get a unit or want to get a unit, take the $300, put it into Caspa. That would be my personal opinion. Ooh, the Jazzminer X41U looks like it's most profitable on Octaspace. How's Octaspace doing? Let's see. Hell yeah. Octaspace, $1.33. That's sick. Hell yeah. Damn. Octaspace has been killing it. I'm glad I solo mined it for a little while. Actually never made a video on that, but I solo mined it for quite some time. I guess 10 days ago, $1.72 was its all-time high. It's down 22% from there. This is a DPIN project, if you guys didn't know. It's a storage project, Octaspace. And if you guys are looking for new projects, go to categories. Go to categories right here on CoinGecko, and you guys can search through, if you like, into DPIN or whatever. You guys can find, you know, your DPIN category and scroll through the entire section to find coins in these categories you guys like. All right, very, very easy way to do it. And you can see Octaspace is right here. So if you're looking for like new meme coins and stuff, this is a cool way to search for it too. And go into the meme coin category and just kind of blast through it. All right, let's move on to GPUs. See what the most profitable coin is for GPU mining. Looks like it is Pyrin. And what the hell is HTN? What is HTN? Whosat? What is Whosat? I've never heard of this coin. What is this coin? Whosat? Oh, I have heard of it. I lied. Over here on mining pool stats.stream, new coin section. These are the new mineable coins. Looks like there's a Kapow one, Anokas, Anokas. I don't know how you're supposed to say that, but Kapow. Looks like that Whosat is a Pyrin hash coin 12 days ago. Guys, please be careful downloading anything. I don't know. Some of these coins could be malicious. Some of them could be totally legit. Just please be careful. Do your due diligence. Do not put them on your normal PC. You're going to be downloading wallets. But it looks like those two on top of the charts. Hypera. Also, that is the Re-Ethereum, if I'm not mistaken. That is rebranded. We have Conflux and Chlor. Xano. Oh, wow. NXL. Look at that. NXL. On the top of the charts, the 3090 Ti. How's that project doing, actually? I haven't looked at that in a while. Sorry guys, I'm just catching up, and then we're gonna get into everything else. Looks like a penny. Nice. There's just too many Casper forks, to be honest. Yeah, see, this one just completely died. You know, I had high hopes for this one too. Nexilia. How are you supposed to say that? All right. Anyways, that's it. That's what it looks like. NXL is dead. Yeah, Tom G. Yeah. RIP. All right, let's move on to the news of the day. I need to catch myself up. We have a bunch of things to watch. Bitcoin drop a small drawdown. Pomp Investments founder. This is Anthony Pompliano over on Bloomberg Television. Let's see what he's got to say here, guys. Hit that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Hate asking, but YouTube makes me. Let's do it.
You do have Bitcoin prices back below $65,000. What's happening under the surface?
Yeah, for context, this is a pullback for ants compared to what Bitcoin historically has been through, right? In previous bull
That's a pullback for ants. First thing he says. Everybody, calm the down, like Max Voltage would say.
markets, Bitcoin has experienced 30% drawdowns 5 or more times. So on the way up, in 2017, we went from $1,000 to $20,000. There was multiple 30% drawdowns. Right now, we're about 13 to 15% drawdown. So in historical context, this is actually a very small drawdown in a bull market. Now, the other thing that's happening, I think, is if you extend out and you look over the last 10 years, in the last 5 years, Bitcoin's up 1,500%. The S&P is up not even double. If you go back 10 years, Bitcoin is compounded. The compound annual growth rate of Bitcoin is 60%. The S&P is 11%. And so if you compare those things, if you want volatility on the upside, you're going to need some volatility on the downside to get there. And so I think that just keeping the historical context is important because this is a very, very small drawdown compared to what we've seen in the past.
But does it mean that traders really ought to buckle up here and expect potentially more volatility, further drawdowns ahead?
I mean, there is some irony in the fact that Wall Street came in, and when the ETFs were approved, immediately the price crashed, right? Kind of like welcome to Bitcoin. And then we break all-time highs. And 3 of the last 4 times that we had broken all-time highs, Bitcoin's price had doubled in 18 days or less. And then all of a sudden, we get a 15% drawdown. And so I think one of the lessons of Bitcoin over the last, call it 3-4 years is no one knows what the future is going to be. And we've even violated some of those historical rules that people held kind of as these like holy rules, right? We had never seen Bitcoin go below a previous all-time high. We had never seen Bitcoin hit an all-time high before the halving. Both of those rules got broken. And so I think we're in uncharted territory here. And people have to understand this is like an 80 vol asset that, yes, it's been the best performing asset, but it is very, very volatile all the way up.
Very, very true. Because it was a lot of things we haven't seen. We're still in price discovery mode. We don't know where the hell things are going. And I guess the moral of the story here is like, don't put longs in when you shouldn't put longs in because you're going to get wrecked. People are going to just dump the market and liquidate your longs, and then the price is going to go back up. So please, if you guys are doing leverage trading, know what you're doing, or at least try to learn what you're doing with a little bit of money, not a lot of money. You know what I mean? All right, so let's get on to the next thing. CNBC television, Bitcoin slides $10,000 from record high. Let's get into it.
Also taking a hit, CNBC.com's Tanea McKeel is here with me at Post 9 to discuss. And look, I'm always a little bit wary to offer my own explanations for what moves Bitcoin up or down. But obviously, at one point, we're $10,000 off the recent highs.
Yeah, definitely. I think this weakness that you're seeing today is a continuation of a lot of the activity you saw last week after Bitcoin hit its most recent all-time high. It's been notching higher and higher since the beginning of the year, really. So after Wednesday, when it hit that all-time high, you started seeing traders start to take some profits. That triggered a wave of long liquidations, over Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A little break from the weekend, but again, just in the last 24 hours, you're seeing more than $140 million in long liquidations in Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin
Crazy.
And stocks related to Bitcoin's performance have cut some of its losses today, but still a little bit under pressure.
It seems as if the story of the Bitcoin spot ETFs and the fact that they did attract a fair amount of money has had, I would argue, longer live than you might have expected. In other words, it's been behind the bull case for a while now. We did see some outflows I know people were focused on. I mean, I guess that just reflects the activity you're talking about.
Yeah, and that could be a number of things. The Grayscale Bitcoin ETF obviously has an exorbitantly high fee compared to a bunch of the newborn ETFs that we saw launch in January. I think a lot of traders would also say it takes a lot of investors a little bit of time to get accustomed to this. So,
right.
We've been saying, yes, these ETFs will give a lot of investors new access that they didn't have before, but still they need to kind of come around to the idea of, what that's going to mean for their portfolio portfolio and what they really want to do with their investments. Just because they have the access to the ETF doesn't mean everyone's going to be jumping in all at once.
We also did have, MicroStrategy, which is obviously one of the biggest leveraged Bitcoin plays. They raised more capital to buy more Bitcoin. I just wonder if that's one of those things where once it happens, they bought what they were going to buy in the short term, and the momentum reverses.
Everybody gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve. That's what Michael Saylor always says, and he's the guy that buys at the top and will continue to buy at the top forever. He stated that millions of times. He owns MicroStrategy, so there you go.
Yeah, that is a strategy that they've become known for and really leaned into. And even just last month, they said that they were going to pivot and kind of rebrand themselves as a Bitcoin development company. Look, this month has really been the theme of this month has been a rise to new highs for Bitcoin, followed by steep losses. So MicroStrategy got praised on Wall Street just last week for its Bitcoin strategy. They said, this is something investors are becoming accustomed to, and it's going to pay off for MicroStrategy in the long term. But the setup for Bitcoin is still pretty strong, but you're going to see those steep losses,
for sure,
this pullback.
And MicroStrategy up 125% year to date, but 22% off its high. So it moves fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tanea, great to see you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Crazy. Shout out to CNBC for that. Yeah, guys. I mean, again, you just heard it. They said MicroStrategy is going to make out long term. Like this isn't like a get rich quick scheme, and that's what people need to understand getting into crypto, right? You're not just going to get rich tomorrow. All right, it's going to be one of the some people can. You absolutely can, but very far and few between. All right, it's most likely not going to happen. You want to have a game plan, and it's a long term goal. Let's just leave it at that. But anyways, Coinbase CEO on regulation, ETFs, and adopting crypto over here on Bloomberg Television. Guys, that like button, appreciate you hanging out. Let's do it.
I want to start here, actually not with the volumes, but I want to give you the chance here because I know you're flying down to DC and hosting a lot of Congress over at a summit that Coinbase is really spearheading, including Cynthia Lummis and Patrick McHenry. How do you see your presence in Washington today, and why is it so important for you and Mark Andreessen to be there?
Yeah, well, you're right. We are hosting an event tomorrow called an Update the System event, and we're inviting a bunch of policymakers, members of Congress, and the goal is to talk about all the different use cases of crypto that are emerging. I think there's kind of this trope that's out there, which is that, crypto doesn't have any use case, and it really couldn't be farther from the truth. I mean, crypto, first of all, it's a new form of sound money, right? It's a return to almost like a new gold standard that's digital. In this time of high inflation and deficit spending, I think people are really interested in that. And it's a nice check and balance that'll help America with any of the issues there. It's also digitizing the dollar. It's making payments fast, cheap, and global. It's allowing artists to sell directly to their fans, decentralized social media. There's all kinds of things that are emerging around use cases in crypto. And so we want policymakers to come together to talk about that, to get the word out, and also to see the number of Americans that are actually using this technology now, so that a very important message can be delivered that, being anti-crypto is political suicide in this political environment.
Now, you're talking so much about other use cases for crypto outside of even just being a store of value here, as many people see it as they're entering this asset class, some for the first time with the advent of these spot Bitcoin ETFs. It begs the question, how do you see the future of Coinbase? There are a lot of questions about the future of crypto exchanges in the world where Bitcoin ETFs have gotten so much share. Do you see Coinbase going far and above beyond being simply a crypto exchange?
Yeah, so with the the ETFs that got approved, we've seen a huge influx of capital into the system. About $12 billion of inflow have happened. And when that happens, sometimes people ask us, well, what does that mean for Coinbase? Well, it's actually incredibly positive for Coinbase. We're the custodian for about 90% of the assets in those Bitcoin ETFs. And so we have monetization opportunities there as a custodian, but it didn't cannibalize any of the opportunity in our direct products too, our retail app, our institutional product. We actually saw increased inflows there while we saw $12 billion of inflow into the ETFs. So the ETFs were incredibly positive for the industry. They were a regulatory approval. They unlocked new pools of capital. And Coinbase is going to be not just a place where you store crypto, it's a place where you can actually trade crypto. You can use it increasingly in many different applications all over the world. And it's not just Bitcoin either. You know, we support over 100 different crypto assets. So we want Coinbase to be the most trusted and easiest to use place to store crypto, to trade it, and to actually use it. And we can actually become people's primary financial account in some cases in this new crypto economy.
Kind of like a crypto.
Real quick, in the chat. So I asked you guys, you know, who uses Coinbase, if you do or you don't. And I put a third option for Crypto KJ. Says I was banned because he was banned. Anyways, it's because it's in the UK, I think. I don't know if they allow people in the UK actually to use it, but if they do, let me know in the chat. Also, let's all right, so Nismo Miner, actually, this is what kind of made me pause the video. He said 10% of my Bitcoin is on Coinbase, rest is on Robinhood or Tangem. So if I were you, please don't keep your money on exchanges. Robinhood, I don't know. I probably wouldn't leave anything on there. Coinbase, if you want to leave some on there, cool. But like, let's be real. Since the Tangem has the swapping feature inside of it, and you have a Tangem clearly, I would absolutely just send your money to Tangem, and you can swap it out on there if you ever feel the need to sell. Do you understand? Like, if we hit all-time highs again, these ETFs are 100% going to take precedent over you, the little guy trying to sell. So when that time comes, you're probably not going to be able to sell. Do you know what I mean? They're going to freeze your shit. So that swapping feature, I think they use a bunch of different exchanges, and you should be able to sell at other places. That's kind of why I just wanted to give a little PSA on that. But that's what I'm doing personally. I'm not leaving shit on Coinbase anymore. I'll just swap it through Tangem and call it a day. Mr. Midwest Mining Dude, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate it. We have Scott A, Game with Smokey Dan got one. We have Automatic Beats, Nick K, and Drew and Mike Live. Appreciate you guys for being here, and congrats on the new memberships. All right, let's continue.
Bank?
Yeah, one might say that. I don't think we're ever going to go get actually a bank license, because banks get licenses to do fractional reserve of the assets. I don't really think that's the right path. I think it's caused all kinds of issues with bank failures and that kind of thing. We don't want to do fractional reserve. We want to store 100% of customers' assets, or if they prefer, they don't even have to store it with us. They can do self-custody. And, you know, if they choose to opt in their funds into some product to earn rewards or something like that, they can choose to do that. We're not going to do it on their behalf in the way that banks do with fractional reserve. So it's a new paradigm. I think that there's a new generation of people who are looking at, they want to see crypto update the financial system, because, you know, 87% of Americans, when you survey them, they say the current financial system doesn't work for them. Fractional reserve is just one piece of that. But if you look at, you know, credit card fees and overdraft fees, and why does it, you know, take 2 or 3 business days to send an ACH transfer? And so our financial system really needs to get updated. And that's what we think, is that crypto is this most important technology to update the financial system globally, bring economic freedom and good financial infrastructure to people all over the world if they just have a smartphone with an internet connection.
He's right. He's 100% right. Real quick in the chat, Crypto KJ said it might just be timing, but Coinbase banned me right after I paid for KS0 Pro directly from Ice River. And you know what? That's a good point. Forgot. So when you guys, so like if you're doing say leverage trading, right, over, if you guys are going to use like Bybit or whatever, if you have like a VPN and you guys are doing like weird trading, or you're purchasing things from across seas, or things rather from across seas, the address can get flagged when you're sending it to those places, right? So like if say you have, again, you're trading on Bybit or Binance, right? That's banned in the US, and you send your money from Coinbase to that exchange, you can get banned. Like they will just lock your account out, saying it's weird activity. So you guys got to make sure, like if you're gonna do things like that, not financial advice, send it to your own damn wallet, and then send it out of your own wallet to said exchange. And same vice versa, if you're getting paid from a different exchange, send it to your wallet and then send it to Coinbase. Who cares if it costs you a little bit more of a fee? That way you're safe and you're not getting like screwed. You're not going to lose your money. Do you know what I mean?
Before we update the system, we have to talk about some of the things you've seen on Coinbase in recent weeks, as well as other exchanges, kind of hiccups along the way as we've seen this new activity really bring Bitcoin to new highs and then back off those highs. Brian, what have you learned from the outages in recent weeks over at Coinbase when we have seen those elevated volumes in activity and trading after we've seen such inflows into the ETFs?
Yusuf said, do you lose your ish if you get banned? You can, yeah. I mean, well, not lose it, but like it gets locked up and you have a real hard time getting it back. So that's the main reason we say please self-custody. Mr. Retro Mike in the chat, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. He said, in 2017 bull market, my Coinbase account got hacked and drained. I contacted support and they instantly banned me. Took 4 years to get it reinstated. Wow. Wait, hold on. Did you get your money back 4 years later? Or did you just lose everything and still get friggin' banned? That's terrible. I'm sorry that happened. That's awful. That's why, like, guys, please hold your own crypto. Get a Tangem. Use one of those apps. It's a free app. Get Trust Wallet, okay? I don't have a link for that, but have fun. Go look it up in the iOS store or the Android Google Play Store, whatever it is, the Trust Wallet app. Save your seed phrase and put your crypto on there if you don't have any other option. If you want to buy a Tangem, links in the description. LEPAL, I think I have a link in the description. If not, CCXD gets you 10% off both of those. Use somebody else's code. I don't care whose you use. Just make sure your shit's safe, please. Like, seriously, it's crazy how many people keep money on these exchanges. Like, don't do things like that. Like, you're going to lose your funds at some point, and it's going to be sad.
Yeah, well,
and I trust Coinbase. I really do. I trust them, right? It's just, you guys, if you're sending shit in and out of Coinbase, not to a private wallet, be careful, because you can get pinched that way. They will just say it's weird activity because they don't know what's happening. At the end of the day, they can't trace and find out where your money's actually going, right? Sometimes they can. If it's a Bybit exchange or something like that, they can trace that. They can find out what that is. But these companies like Ice River, if there's a lot of money going into one account to buy Ice Rivers, like, yeah, you can get flagged. Like, please just send it to your own wallet and then out of your own wallet, even if it costs you an extra $10 in fees.
Of activity on our platform, and last year we spent a lot of time doing load testing and making sure we could handle a 10x surge of traffic. You know, what's incredible is that as Bitcoin touched and surpassed the previous all-time highs, in the span of about an hour, we saw more than a 10x surge of traffic come in, and so it exceeded even our models of the amount of interest that could come in a short period of time. So I think what's happening is that Coinbase is becoming a systemically important financial institution for the world to power this new part of the economy. And we're going to have to continue to invest in our infrastructure at an even greater level than we have in the past. So, look, it's good. It's a signal of adoption of crypto and how important it's becoming in the economy. But that just makes our job even more important. And we got to make sure we're serving our partners and our customers with good infrastructure.
I think
real quick, the one who was says having to put your input your social security number and upload your license is BS. Screw Coinbase. It might as well be a damn bank. Well, that's just the KYC exchange. Like, Kraken makes you do that too, right? Real KYC exchanges make you do that. You have to take a picture of your license. You got to take a picture of yourself, right? Like, they want to make sure it's you. So I get that. It's kind of securing your stuff, right? But there's also a good thing to that. If your shit gets shut off or stopped and you have all that stuff in Coinbase, it's a lot easier for you to recover your stuff, I would assume, right? Except, like, if you're just a nobody, they don't know who the hell you are. Hello, Mr. Nobody. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to unlock this account for you. We don't know who the hell you are. So it's one of those things, right? Double-edged sword. I know it sucks, but at the end of the day, it's a little bit more protection than you'd get anywhere else.
I think it begs the question as well. About a week or so ago, we saw record prices here for Bitcoin itself, which of course attracted a lot of interest into other crypto assets. I want to ask you about Ethereum here for a minute, because we've already gotten past those spot Bitcoin ETF approvals. Ethereum has always been a very popular crypto asset. But when you think about the tone in Washington and what we've seen after that Bitcoin ETF approval, do you think it's going to be as easy the second time around? I shouldn't say easy, because it did take years to get here, but as smooth or as likely for investors to see that Ethereum ETF be approved just as swiftly?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ETFs, the Ethereum ETFs very clearly should be approved, and everybody deserves equal treatment under the law. Unfortunately, some of this crypto stuff has gotten a little bit politicized at our federal agencies, and there's unfortunately this kind of turf war between the CFTC and the SEC about, is it a commodity, is it a security, et cetera. And I think the facts are pretty clear that Ethereum is a commodity, but that's not going to stop folks from trying to throw a wrench into things. And so, if it does get delayed unfairly, I think the industry will have to follow a similar path to what happened with Bitcoin, which is they'll essentially go to the courts, and the courts will compel the regulators to follow the rules, follow the law, right? And give equal treatment under the law. So it may take additional effort, but I think they really should be approved right away. And I was really pleased to see that Coinbase was actually named as the custodian in 5 of the 8 Ethereum ETF applications. So it continues to be
There are 11 out of the 13 of the Bitcoin applications.
Endorsement of us as a platform that people want to build on top of.
That was what I was going to ask you. What is Coinbase's role as more crypto assets see an ETF wrapper come to the surface here? Of course, you have a large custody business here. You are kind of running the show here when it comes to most of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. But do you think that this is also a business where more people will seek to diversify their custodians? Will that have a big impact on your business?
Well, we want there to be a diversity of custodians in crypto. And of course, people should be able to store crypto themselves too. That's one of the unique things in crypto. You can kind of be your own custodian. So there should be a diversity in the ecosystem. I think Coinbase is really just trying to be one of those trusted pillars that folks can build on. And it's great. Like the ETFs, they can build on top of us as a custodian. They also need trading services often, financing, settlement, other sorts of services that we provide. But I think even if we get, an ETF for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, kind of go on down the list. And eventually, by the way, we should have index funds. Hopefully someday there can be a Coinbase 500, kind of like the S&P 500 with the top 500 coins by market cap. All kinds of things could get built in the future, but these aren't just passive investments that people want to do. Crypto increasingly has more and more utility. People are paying for things. Now with USDC, you can actually send it instantly anywhere in the world for free on Ethereum, a layer 2 solution called Base. So we can.
That's pretty cool, being able to move USDC for free. That's pretty awesome.
Revolutionize payments. What I talked about earlier with artists getting paid and decentralized social media. It's kind of the future of how the internet is going to get built and how a lot of.
Actually, real quick, the USDC. Somebody pointed it out to me. It was actually my man, Fully Electric. He's an OG in the space. He said that USDC. You know how you guys can get I think it's 5 or 6% APY on your USDC inside Coinbase if you hold that instead of US dollars. Apparently, though, if your account gets hacked, that USDC is not covered, but your US dollars is covered up to a certain amount. So keep that in mind. I kept all my stuff in USD after he told me that. And yeah, I would have never known that if it wasn't for him. So shout out to Fully Electric.
Applications are monetized. So people are going to come to Coinbase when they want to hold crypto directly, when they want to actually use crypto, when they want to get access to staking and other products, Coinbase cards, so they can spend their crypto at any merchant where Visa is accepted. I think these are very additive. We can be an infrastructure provider to traditional financial services, and we can be the retail app, the institutional app for people who want to directly use crypto.
Now, Brian, as you head to Washington now for the summit tomorrow, I also want to kind of point out here that you've had a large voice here in advocating for pro-crypto candidates. Where does the rubber hit the road? Is it really making a difference at the end of the day when America is also facing a whole host of other challenges like inflation?
Well, it's funny, actually, inflation ties really neatly into crypto. I mean, the expansion of the dollar money supply is probably the biggest driver of inflation in the US. And a lot of average people, they may not think about quantitative easing or fiscal deficits, but they do notice that the prices of things have gone up at the gas station or the grocery store. And so inflation is a big tentpole issue. I think increasingly people are starting to realize that Bitcoin is the antidote to inflation. It is a very important check and balance on deficit spending. And I think for the US to remain a global superpower, a financial hub, technology hub, and for the dollar to keep its reserve currency status, which I very much want as an American, we need a check and balance because, of course, in the early 1970s, the dollar was fully decoupled at that time from hardback commodities like gold. And since then, it's followed a similar pattern to other nations around the world. So anyway, I think Bitcoin is increasingly becoming a part of the political dialogue, and Coinbase has tried to help out here, help these 52 million Americans who've used crypto. By the way, that's 5x the number that own an electric vehicle, 3x that have a union card. So it's a massive constituency, and I don't think a lot of people in DC realize that. We've contributed to organizations like standwithcrypto.org, which is building a grassroots movement. We've contributed to organizations like Fair Shake, which had great outcomes in the Super Tuesday elections. So we really need to get pro-crypto, pro-innovation candidates elected that recognize the need for regulation that balances protecting consumers.
We have to
and
leave
innovation.
it there. We're hitting up against a break, but we hope to have you back soon. And good luck with that conference over there tomorrow. We'll want to hear all about it later. That's Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong.
She's like, thanks for being with us, but shut up. What the hell? She kicked him out of there super quick. All right, let's move on. CNBC television, and I apologize for cutting him off, just so you guys know. It's I felt like those things you guys needed to hear, especially with the USD and the USDC thing, and the halting your accounts is a real big scare. So just make sure you guys are sending stuff to a private wallet before you send it anywhere else, at least in my opinion. All right, moving on. CNBC television, Bitcoin's weekly losses amount as the cryptocurrency briefly slips below $63,000. Let's get into it, guys. Hit that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out.
Today, Bitcoin extends its losses, falling about $10,000 from its recent high. Grayscale's CEO says fees on the asset manager's Bitcoin ETF will drop over time. And Brian Dixon with Off the Chain Capital weighs in on what's contributing to Bitcoin's slide. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Brandon Gomez. Bitcoin extending its losses this morning, trading just under $64,000 as of noon Eastern. The move lower helped drag other cryptocurrencies down as well. Ether fell more than 6% to just under $3,300. That's after topping $4,000 last week for the first time since December of 2021. Solana also sank 10% to $182, a day after crossing $200 for the first time since November of 2021. Now, Bitcoin's weakness began Friday as traders started cashing in on profits from this year's crypto run. Bitcoin soared about 70% to a 2024 peak of $73,679, which it notched last Wednesday. Bitcoin's drop also reflected in crypto-focused stocks today. Bitcoin proxy MicroStrategy falling nearly 12% as of noon, and crypto exchange Coinbase tumbling 5%. Sticking with Coinbase.
Yeah, this is a new guy. What the hell? I didn't even notice that. Crypto KJ, you pervert.
Coinbase, as we hit today's top stories, the Crypto Council for Innovation, or CCI, filed an amicus brief yesterday in support of the crypto exchange. Coinbase challenged the SEC's denial of the company's rulemaking petition, and CCI argues that the SEC's refusal to engage in traditional rulemaking in favor of vague and inconsistent enforcement actions has caused and will continue to cause significant harm to American competitiveness in the new digital age. The council also warned that without clear and consistent guidance, the digital asset industry will not reach its full potential in the US and will be pushed to other jurisdictions. An SEC spokesperson declined to comment beyond public filings on the matter. Coinbase has been in a legal battle with the regulator since the agency charged the crypto company with operating as an unregistered securities exchange, broker, and clearing agency back in June. Next, Grayscale CEO says fees on its Bitcoin ETF will drop in the coming months as the crypto ETF market matures. In an interview with CNBC yesterday, Michael Sonnenschein softened his earlier stance defending costs above the market average. The crypto fund manager charges a 1.5% management fee for GBTC, much higher than those by other Bitcoin ETF providers, including BlackRock and Fidelity, which charge 0.25%.
0.25, literally 6 times less than what he charges. There's no way they're going to be keeping that. No way they're going to be keeping that fee the same.
According to CoinShares data, Grayscale's GBTC has logged outflows of more than $12 billion since it was converted into an ETF in January.
$12 billion in outflows because they want to have a 1.5% fee. That's crazy selfish. That's what that is.
In no small part to those higher than average fees. Grayscale also wants to introduce other avenues of giving investors less costly ways of accessing its Bitcoin ETF, including a mini version of its flagship product. Last, a federal judge blasted the SEC for a gross abuse of power in its legal battle with blockchain firm Digital Licensing. District Judge Robert Shelby said in a Monday filing that the agency engaged in bad faith abuse of the judicial process and undermined the integrity of the court proceedings in its attempts to freeze the company's assets. The SEC sued Digital Licensing, also known as DebtBox, back in July of 2023, claiming it defrauded investors. The regulator also pointed to a YouTube video posted by DebtBox, where the firm said it had moved its operations to Abu Dhabi and was under the region's jurisdiction, not the SEC's. Well, the SEC claimed the company was trying to skirt US regulations, but lawyers for the company said those claims were misleading, and that the company was responding to a viewer question about the benefits of operating in UAE. In the end, the judge sanctioned the SEC and ordered it to pay some of DebtBox's legal costs. We did reach out to the SEC for comment, and a spokesperson told us the agency is reviewing the decision.
That's crazy. Real quick in the chat, so I just want to answer this question before I forget. So Miss Pocket Change says, question for the AMA. She said, does your wallet address change every time you copy it, or is it per app? No, so the only time I've noticed my wallet address changes, like the receiving address, is my ledger, which I don't fully understand why. If you asked Retro Mike, I bet he would know why. There's something, I don't know, it's not the same, but like a lot of wallets, they do have the same address, like repetitively, right? But Ledger's the only one I've noticed that actually does that. And then she said, how do you choose which coin you want to take a chance on? When you say take a chance on, as in like take a chance on Coinbase, or just take a chance on in general? Because there's a lot of different answers to that, but let's continue.
All right, for our main story, Crypto World's Jordan Smith spoke with Brian Dixon, CEO of Off the Chain Capital, about this week's steepening declines for Bitcoin and whether the selling pressure is here to stay.
I'm assuming it has to do with something with Ledger security, the way they do that, the Bitcoin address, like it like slightly changes. It's weird. I actually, fun fact, I lost money actually doing that way back in the day, not understanding that the address does change. So you guys need to be careful. Every time you use your Ledger, make sure you guys go and copy that address at that moment. Okay, please just be safe.
All right, Brian, thank you so much for being here. First things first, we have to talk about your reaction to this crypto sell-off. Bitcoin's sinking back down to around $62,000 mark as we're speaking. After it was at $73,000 just a week ago, Ether's down at around $3,200. Is this just part of the plan, you know, short-term pullback before the next run higher?
Dude, this guy's got like perfect hair. Look at that. He looks like an emoji. His Pocket Change said either Coinbase or mining. What do you decide to pick coins besides profitability? So, I mean, realistically, it comes down to like how many. All right. So I was there's a fork, right, of Caspa, this Bugna or something that just came out, right? It's a new coin, right? I was looking at it yesterday. The coins that I choose, it really depends. I look at how many coins are in circulation and how much information's out there. There was like zero information on this coin out there, right? There wasn't, I don't know if there was a pre-mine or anything along those lines, if there was a pre-sale. The amount of coins that were on that network, there was like 100 billion. So like I know it's going to list way under other coins, right? It's going to be just a nothing burger at the end of the day, right? So that's just that's like the first thing I look at. Second thing, obviously, you want to look at, like, in my opinion, obviously, you don't want to follow everybody in the space, but like you do want to go after profitability. Profitability is one of the biggest things, right? You can mine it and sell it into USDT or USDC, whatever you would like. Just mine it, profit from it, and swap it into the coins you want or the coins you believe in. Typically, it's really the top coins are going to be the ones that I'd hold long term, other than like Caspa or something, right? Because I know in the future this coin's going to be fully mined out and I'm going to be alive for that, right? That's in 2036. That's going to happen. So my hopes for it, it's going to be a bit higher than it's at now, and that's just whatever. I'm going to take a gamble on it, right? So there's a bunch of different reasons why I would choose a coin, but everybody's got their own reasons, right?
I would think so. Largely, we've seen this in a lot of historical cycles. As we get closer to the halving, we'll see an increase in price. We'll see some consolidation and a drawback. But in addition to that, I also think we're seeing some continued selling from the crypto bankruptcies that occurred in 2022. And you can actually see that a little bit because of the huge outflow we saw with GBTC yesterday. There was over 640 million of an outflow yesterday. And I think part of that had to do with probably some of these bankruptcies that are liquidating their GBTC.
You know, there was a lot of talk when those companies went under that we would see the knock-on effects for those for weeks and months and maybe even years to come. Where are we in that process? You're talking about GBTC. You know, we're still seeing companies move through that process. Some have exited. Where are we in that process of seeing the knock-on effects long-term?
Sorry, I know I'm breaking this up a lot, but Game with Smokey Dan said, mine seems to be fine. Been using the same one to mine too with my Ledger Nano S. And you know what? That's actually a good point. I don't know how the hell it works. I don't understand it. Lawnmower Man says addresses that change are like public keys to the same wallet from my understanding. Yeah, so the way I did it, when I lost money sending money to my ledger, right, or Bitcoin to my ledger rather, I ended up copying an address that I sent it to previously. And I mean, hey, listen, I could have done something wrong. I don't know what the deal was, but I noticed after that moment that obviously that coin didn't get to my wallet, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I'm looking at the addresses, and I noticed that my ledger address has changed when sending money to my ledger, right? And this was way back in the day. So now I always copy and paste at that exact moment. If I'm gonna send money to my ledger, I'll just plug in the ledger and, you know, receive it that way. I'm not going to just guess anymore, right? But when it comes to these apps like Tangem or the NFC card, right, Tangem, or the app Trust Wallet, typically that address doesn't change. I think it's just a security feature inside Ledger, but if anybody else knows, please let me know. Crypto Meme says that's correct. So, I mean, that makes sense. 100% makes sense.
I actually think we're really close to the end. In my opinion, probably in the next 3 to 6 weeks, I think we would most likely see a lot of that GBTC being unloaded and some of the other digital assets that they've held. And it's kind of interesting timing because now we're reaching the point where we have the halving that's due to occur in late April. And so with that, we're seeing the prices naturally rise like we've seen in historical cycles. So I'm hoping that that balances it out a little bit with the outflows that we'll see from GBTC or some of the other decrease in some of the other digital asset positions with the increase in interest as we're getting closer to the halving cycle. But I would say probably no more than another month or two is my assumption.
One thing I saw you point to on Twitter was the amount of Bitcoin that's being held in wallets and not traded. And you noted, I think it was Glassnode, shows more than 70% of Bitcoin hasn't moved in more than a year. Talk about why that's so important to pay attention to as we're watching price and adoption of crypto right now.
Sure. So when you look at the percentage of Bitcoin that hasn't moved in a year, which according to Glassnode was around 70%, I think after the last week, it's probably more around 67 to 68% because we did see some of these long-term holders sell and take a little bit of profits with the price hike. But still, let's use 70% as a round number. So 70% of people holding Bitcoin for over a year is so important because when we look at the supply-demand economics with the ETFs entering the market and creating this tremendous amount of demand, if 70% of the Bitcoin holders are holding long-term, that leaves 30% of the tradable market that these ETFs can go out and actually acquire this Bitcoin. Well, what does that do as a market? That actually creates a price appreciation because people need to be incentivized with a higher price in order for them to sell their Bitcoin. And so when you have this thinly traded market like that, I think in time, that's just going to further create price enhancement on the asset.
Real quick, Retro Mike, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate that a lot. He said, UTXO chains track input transactions, and generally you should use a different address for each receipt. You should be able to use any previous one. So, I mean, I could have done something wrong. Again, that was when I first started. Again, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. DJ screaming. the Bitcoin all-time high always cracks me up. But yeah, that's, I don't know. It was a weird thing that I noticed that Ledger always kind of changes up the address every time you're going to receive new crypto, right? You get a new address. But yeah, it all links to the same account that you have, which is strange, right? So I don't know. Let me know if you guys have noticed that. But yeah, you guys, I don't know. I might have screwed something up back in the day, but I've never done that again since. I've always just received it at the same time. I've always copied that new address.
We've talked a lot about Bitcoin here, but there's also altcoins that have soared this year. What's your reaction to the likes of Solana, which is up more than 60% so far this year, and meme tokens, I guess, which seem to be all the rage right now, despite the sell-off we're seeing?
Yeah. So on the meme token side, I think that's largely speculative, and there's some people that can get really lucky in that, but I think most people aren't so lucky with making profits on those kinds of things. But in terms of Solana, I think people are just recognizing the value of the protocol. Solana is gaining tremendous market share on Ethereum.
Solana's
it's growing very quickly. There's more retail and institutional demand. And what are the reasons for that? If we look at Solana as a protocol, it's cheaper, faster, and more efficient than a lot of its competitors. And it has been since inception. So as it's gaining market share, it's gaining utility and applications built on top of it, we're going to see that ecosystem and that base layer, Solana itself, really accrete value over time. And I also think we're seeing a lot of interest on the institutional side, getting exposure to some of the digital asset trust products and things like Grayscale or Osprey, where you can get exposure to Solana. And then they're probably also trying to work the different net asset value versus the premium expansion on top of them.
Let's talk about your investment strategy. Off the Chain Capital says it uncovers value in blockchain and digital assets using a Warren Buffett investment style. Talk about what that looks like in crypto investing. And I guess Also, explain to me why you would make that comparison, especially with someone who seems to be skeptical of crypto.
Of course. Warren Buffett is one of the most brilliant investors of all time. And I think one of the things, unfortunately, that he's missed a lot on is technology in their early phases, right? He was a big miss on Apple in the early days. He's not understanding the value of Bitcoin. And part of that could be is that Berkshire Hathaway is one of the largest, if not the largest owner of banks in the entire country, right, in their portfolio. And Bitcoin is a threat to the traditional financial system status quo. But what we do is we actually take Warren's tried and proven methodology in terms of investing and finding assets at a deep discount, and we're applying it to this new technology sector. So simply what we do with Off the Chain is we're looking for unique ways to acquire $1 worth of blockchain assets for 50 cents. And we do that between two parts of our investment thesis. We look for private equity in very mature blockchain companies. So we're looking for businesses that are profitable, have minimum or no debt, post-Series A round, and we're trying to find forced or motivated sellers that are seeking liquidity so we can attempt to capture those shares at a discount from where we believe they're intrinsically valued. And then in the same line of thinking, we do the same strategy, but we characterize them into mispriced digital assets. And what that means to us is we're going to try to find ways to acquire digital assets at a discount. So as an example, we could go into a bankruptcy proceeding where we have bankruptcy claim holders sitting on a bankruptcy claim with Bitcoin as the underlying asset, and they may be tied up in that proceeding for several years, but we could attempt to offer them liquidity today to capture that Bitcoin at a discount from where it's valued.
Is that the real Giga Chad? Is that what you guys are saying in the chat? Is that him? We gotta look it up now. Hold on. Give me 1 second. You guys don't know what this is. Because I didn't until somebody showed me. Let's see. Hold on. Open image and new tab. This guy. Is that the real Giga Chad? Is that him?
Bankruptcy claim.
Let's see. Side by side, what do you guys think? Vote on it in the chat. Is that the real one? Is that him? Is that him? He flexes. Kind of looks like it. Was hysterical. All right, shout out to CNBC television for that. All right, let's move on. Crypto Zombie videos of the day, getting over the news stuff. We have Bitcoin. What if everyone is wrong and this happens instead? Let's see what Crypto Zombie's got to say over here. Let's do it.
What's Bitcoin going to in the bull market?
$1 million.
You think Bitcoin hits $1 million in this bull market?
Absolutely. I think people are not. I do not think people have a big enough imaginations right now. Oh, I need to like take some chips off the table. Oh, it went so fast as 70,000. Like, no, motherfucker. Like, why did it go so fast as 70,000? Because a bunch of people now can like check a box and buy some Bitcoin ETF. Perfect. Like, there's this whole
perfectly said
government issue of like too much debt. There's elections around the world, and what's the message? I'm going to print money and give you stuff. Rotor, supporter, whatever. Please support me. Right? That's happening. People understand it. It's visceral. We are entering this phase of inflation and populism. This bull market is just getting started, and I don't think people have the right imagination about how ridiculous it can get. So yes, $1 million is my price target.
What's going on, guys? KW here with
God,
another
so
episode
loud.
of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel.
Hold on, I have to watch what that was. What was it saying on the screen? My dad, when he realizes that I bought Bitcoin at $73,750 with his money. Oh, that's so great. That's so great.
What's going on, guys? KW here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Now, obviously, you could tell I'm not at my house right now because there's tons of renovation, but I wanted to get this video out.
Tons of renovation because Bitcoin hit new all-time high, and he was smart. He probably took some money off the table to pay for it. I'm just kidding. KW doesn't sell his Bitcoin as far as I know, but he might. Who knows? You guys, if you are not subbed to Crypto Zombie, I do have a link to this video in the description below. This is one of the guys that I've watched from the beginning, so I definitely value his opinion more than other people. So let's continue.
Hopefully there's not too much wind out here today, but I wanted to discuss what's going on with Bitcoin right now because, obviously us OGs in the space, this doesn't faze us, but for some of the new people, it's a little bit worrisome. They're saying, was that the top, And I mean, if you have a look at what we've done right now, from top to bottom, we did have about a 16% drawdown. So that is generally, what you would expect. You would expect to have a 15, 20%, even 30% drawdown. And to be honest, we really haven't had some of that crazy, insane price action yet, that real volatility to shake out the new hands. And although there have been 3 theories about what could be happening with this cycle, we have
You guys hear the Twitter bird in the background?
the idea of a shortened cycle, standard 4-year cycle, a super cycle, right? But what if there's actually another possibility for Bitcoin? And hint, hint, it's actually something that Bitcoin has done before. This would throw a lot of people off sides. It would screw the bears up. It would mess the bulls up. No one would know what's going on, right? So I want to talk about that and make this video a little bit short just to show you exactly where we are. So if you do like these shorter videos, you know, slap a like on the content, make sure that you comment below, and make sure that you actually turn on the bell notification, because some people say they don't get these updates. So, just to kind of point it out, guys, February of 2024, Bitcoin hit 63,000, right? And then now, March of 2024. And it really is like the same price that we were at a month ago, but oh no, it's so terrible because we fell down so much from the top, right? And again, why is this happening? Well, there's a few different reasons. If we have a look at the fear and greed, there's obviously been some extreme greed going on recently.
You guys saw, we checked that earlier. It's at 74 now, so.
You've seen that meme coin mania. Everyone's been speculating. And generally speaking, I kind of, it's funny. I actually put out a video where I'm talking about altcoins, and lo and behold, the market dumps afterwards, right? And isn't that how you would expect it, right? Everybody gets comfortable. Bitcoin's boring. It's too expensive. Let's go gamble in the altcoin casino. Let's go buy the meme coins. And what do you know? Price starts dumping, right? Now, that's not the only reason. Obviously, there's people who have been holding for a long time. And also the fact that just when you do tend to get around those previous all-time highs, even though, yeah, we did breach above it for a small period of time, it generally does provide a bit of resistance,
We're just welcoming the Timmies to the market by giving them a bunch of liquidations.
And one of the biggest things that I had talked about was last cycle, we never actually got up to the 4.23. And you could see we've always...
If you guys look at this chart, like, look at this little pullback we're having. All right, look at this one. Look at this run up. Okay, or even this run up. Look at these spikes we have. Right? Like, this is a normal little bit of a pullback, kind of like Anthony Pompliano said at the beginning of this stream. The first news clip we watched, a pullback for ants. Like, literally, quite literally, it's not big.
Done that in the past. And by the way, my reason for why I think this happened is because of the FTX situation, what they were doing. They were suppressing the Bitcoin price. I think that Bitcoin honestly would have gone to $100,000 last cycle. The reason it didn't was because of all of the bad actors in the space, the BlockFis, the Celsius, right? The over leveraging. There was so much going on, and the good thing is that now that's wiped clean. We don't have that problem anymore, right? So getting back to the chart, what I think is happening is we're actually just going up to the 4.236 area, which I believe we would have gone up in the first place, right? So we never got to that level. If we zoom in here, look at how this is working, right? Here we are touching the top. Here we are wicking down at the bottom, right? So the bottom wick is around 62,954, and roughly that's about where we fell. So, is there a possibility that we just kind of paint a flag here and continue to the upside? Absolutely, that's totally possible. Another thing that we tend to do is...
In retrospect, it's also possible that we go down further, but it is what it is. It's going to go up over long term.
This is the pi cycle top indicator. Now, when these two get very, very close, like right here, that tends to be the signal that the top is in. But as you can see, the first times, especially here, we start to approach that, and we generally do get rejected. And look at what we're doing right here. We're approaching the top moving average, and generally, historically speaking, we get rejected, right? So this is just falling into play as a healthy type of a pullback. Now, this candle that we did get right here, that you can kind of call it like a Darth Maul wick, right? And they call it that because, it has the basically almost equal lengths on top and bottom, so it kind of looks like Darth Maul's lightsaber. And this definitely messes a lot of people up in leverage for sure. But at the same time, what it's telling us is that the markets are a little bit indecisive right now. The bears were trying to push down the price, they couldn't really do it. The bulls were trying to keep the price momentum, they couldn't really do it, right? So does this mean we could be looking for a short-term reversal? I mean, again, we could just bounce between these two areas. We could, and just keep going between those, Fibonacci's. But if we do end up coming down, I don't think we're coming all the way down to some crazy low levels like 30,000 or anything like that. I mean, look, like Kevin Svensson pointed out, when you're in these...
Listen, if we go down to 30,000, I will buy another Bitcoin to prove to you guys that I believe this is going to go up, and I will prove it to you that I actually bought it. So if we go down to 30K, I will do that. but I don't think that's going to happen.
Parabolic trends. You have these massive pumps, right? So base 1, he says $10,000 next. Bears, wrong. Base 2, bull trap, 15K coming, wrong. And then 45X, it says base price doubles, ETF is the top, right? We had the sell-off, bears, and now please dip, please dip. So, you know, he says that this price target, if we do come down here, usually after you get that fourth touch, what you do is you take about 50% of that move, and that should bring you to around a $90,000 Bitcoin. Now, there's actually some resistance in the 85K area, but ultimately, you know, here is an interesting situation. This is what I wanted to talk about. This is the sort of fourth possibility. Maybe no one is correct, and maybe this is what happens. Now, this is from Willy Woo over with the Bitcoin Macro Index, and you can see that when we start getting above, you see where these peaks are. We go from sort of, I don't know what you want to call this, the darker pink to the lighter pink or lavender. I don't really know what color this is, but generally, you know, anything above this area, you start to get into that overheated territory. And you know, if I zoom in right where we are now, we're not quite there yet. We actually have some more to go. So that's a good thing. That means that, you know, the bull run should still be intact, right? But what could happen is what we had back here, where we actually had this top, and then look at this. We had this insane correction down, and people thought that was it. Now, I don't remember, how much was that actually of a correction? It was insane, let's see. So from that top, that was an 82% correction. And look what happened, guys, from that point. Bitcoin still went up another 2,000%. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I don't think those numbers are really in the cards for the price today. But what you could see is something like what we had back here, where basically what would happen is Bitcoin goes up to, I don't know, some 120,000, 130,000, something like that. It could be happening right now. I don't think it is, but it could. And then we have a massive 60% crash or something like that, right? And everyone's like, wow, that's it. The cycle really was short. It's over. And then what happens? It pumps back up to an insane valuation. You get a $300,000 Bitcoin after everybody, you know, walks away disappointed. And again, you know, I don't know.
And then people FOMO in again and they get wrecked again. That's what happens every single time.
How Wall Street plays these games, but I do know that traditionally speaking, it gets crazy. And the whole idea is to shake you out of your position, to get you scared, to get you to sell your Bitcoin. This is my third cycle, guys. As you guys can tell, I'm extremely calm right now about this because this is to be expected. In fact, what you don't want is to just go up nonstop. You want to have these healthy consolidations. In fact, these healthy consolidations, what they do is they help build the base. They help build the foundation, right? And that will allow us to get to these higher prices. So as I've been saying, I personally believe that any dips that we get, even 40% dips, which are totally possible, I believe that those would be, you know, dips to be loading up. You know, not financial advice, but I guess in a way you kind of want to say it is, but I'm not allowed to say it is at that, you know, at any other rate. So, you know, and the thing is just looking at these on the weekly, actually switching this to the 2 week is really going to blow your mind. You guys could see, waiting for this to load, obviously, a little bit of shoddy internet service out here. But as you can see, you know, once we start to go into this green area, we tend to stay in there for a very long time. And look at this, guys, on the 2 week, we've barely even entered the green. Look at that little baby, little tiny sliver, okay? So that's like right back in here or right back in here, guys, you know? So there's obviously a lot more momentum to the upside, and, you know, the trend is your friend until the end. And in order to get a new macro low, like a macro low, you know, what are you going to go down to? About $42,000, go below that, you know, and generally speaking, once you stay in these EMA ribbons, you can see, I mean, obviously here's a little bit of an outlier, but again, this is COVID. You know, I do believe that if COVID didn't happen, I believe this band would have stayed green, and I believe that we would have stayed above this area, but obviously that is a bit of a black swan that you can't actually predict. But, you know, generally speaking, once you get and hold above this area, you stay above this area, and, you know, anytime you dip into the green, that's like a load the truck up by the dip opportunity. But oftentimes you don't even get back into the green, and you can see the closest we came was this wick down to about 38,000. So right now where we're sitting, you Yeah, we're only sitting at around this first band right here. So, you know, according to this, Bitcoin could go as low as around 47,356, and believe it or not, still actually be bullish, right? You know, you can see right here, we're still out of the parallel channel that we were forming, and look at this, we're not even touching it. Like every time we get these dips, it's getting front run, right? And, you know, if you just have a look again, like I was talking, let me get rid of this drawing from the original, you know, this really was this major base that we were setting up at around that $42,000 area. So I don't see Bitcoin going below that. These moving averages are going to end up moving to the upside. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the point of me making this video is just don't panic, guys. You know, everybody was, you know, they said, oh, I wish Bitcoin would dip. I want Bitcoin to dip so it'll go lower and I could buy. And then
it dips and everybody freaks out.
They're scared to buy. Like, this is just so typical. So at the end of the day, guys, you know, whether you think it's a shortened cycle, a long cycle, whatever, I don't personally think that this bull run is even close to being done. And what I do think could happen is if we do get that shortened cycle, the one that everyone's talking about, and we do sort of peak out sometime this year, I think we could get something like what we saw way back in 2013, where you have that. It was 2013, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I honestly, I wasn't even around back then. That was before my day. No, sorry, that was 2013. Yeah, 2013. Anyway, so yeah, I think we could see something like we did back there, where we have this crazy euphoria, right? And then the bubble pops, and then Bitcoin has this massive correction, which, by the way, would be an amazing buy the dip opportunity. Would we go lower than where we are right now? It's possible. I don't think we're ever going to go. I don't want to say absolutes, like to say never, because I mean, you know, World War III or some crazy stuff happens, but realistically, we spent 2 years around the $30,000 area. It would make absolutely no sense for Bitcoin. After all these years, people have been holding for, you know, 5 years now, and what, now they're going to dump? Like, that just doesn't make any sense, you know? And the thing about the ETFs that I have to just stress.
BlackRock didn't get into Bitcoin ETFs to make sure all of their people that come into their platform fail. You know what I mean? This asset will not fail because of these ETFs now are in the space. That's just my opinion. Honest truth. I mean, prior to that, yeah, there's always a chance, you know, people could just completely dump it and Bitcoin goes way down. But now with the ETFs, like, there's no chance. There's no chance, in my honest opinion, that these things will just completely die.
Is that, yes, the ETFs have allowed inflow, but we don't have the inflow from all of the institutions just yet, right? These guys are still waiting. There's a lot of, you know, these pension funds, these other maybe family offices, you know, sovereign wealth funds. I mean, hey, are they buying yet? You know, so basically what it did was it opened up the door, and we knew that, okay, it had its excitement in the beginning. Now it's kind of cooling off, and then over time you're going to have more and more of those traditional people flood into Bitcoin. So that was kind of the joke in the beginning of the video with Arthur Hayes, you know, $1 million Bitcoin. You know, it's possible. It sounds crazy, but people I didn't think we were going to be at an all-time high before the halving. I truthfully didn't. I'll be the first to admit it. So Bitcoin is very good at surprising people, and it likes to punish both bulls and bears, but I think in the long term, clearly it always rewards the bulls. So be prepared for any situation. Let me know, do you think we could have something like that where we have a shortened cycle, but then what it does is it just goes into like a mini bear, and then we blast off into the next, you know, maybe that would be the super cycle, but it would catch people off guard because it would have that dip in the middle. But either way, guys, you know, I look to Bitcoin as, you know, the ultimate hedge, the ultimate apex predator. And yeah, I mean, for me, I still stack, you know, I stack every day. I've been stacking since 2000. I bought my first Bitcoin at $2,000, and I'm continuing to buy Bitcoin at 60,000 and 70,000 because, you know, is it cheap? Are we early? Well, early in the sense of what? Buying Bitcoin at $5, $10? Then no, we're not early. But early in the sense of global adoption? Absolutely. There's not even 5% of people globally that have an allocation to Bitcoin and crypto, and it might even be lower than that. And it's definitely not a lot of the big players with the big monies and the trillions of dollars of assets out there, right? So anyway, guys, just wanted to bring you a super short update, just let you know everything's cool, nothing to worry about.
Everybody needs to stop panicking. That's pretty much what he's getting at. So shout out to Crypto Zombie. He's awesome. I love listening to what he has to say and watching his charting, because it is good for you guys to kind of get a grasp of everything in the space. All right, let's move on to Altcoin Daily. Bitcoin crash today explained. I'm not sure much is going to be explained, but we're going to see what he has to say over here on Altcoin Daily. Hit that like button. Appreciate you guys.
Bitcoin drops under $63,000, leading to a broader market-wide correction. And with this pullback in total, down 15% from all-time highs.
Yeah, for context, this is a pullback for ants compared to what Bitcoin historically has been through, right? In previous bull markets, Bitcoin has experienced 30% drawdowns 5 or more times. So on the way up, in 2017, we went from $1,000 to $20,000. There was multiple 30% drawdowns. Right now, we're about 13 to 15% drawdown. So in historical context, this is actually a very small drawdown in a bull market. Now, the other thing that's happening, I think, is if you extend out and you look over the last 10 years, in the last 5 years, Bitcoin's up 1,500%. The S&P is up not even double. If you go back 10 years, Bitcoin is compounded. The compound annual growth rate of Bitcoin is 60%. The S&P is 11%. And so if you compare those things, if you want volatility on the upside, you're going to need some volatility on the downside to get there.
So we have literally seen dips like this all year. The reason today specifically is because there was more sellers than buyers. This makes a healthy bull market. Dips are healthy. And specifically, the main seller was GBTC, or Grayscale's Bitcoin fund, that was converted into an ETF, continues to experience outflows with $643 million on 3/18 yesterday. This record level selling explains today's price action.
There is some irony.
So there is also where, you know, they sell out 30 days later, they could buy back in, right? So that could absolutely be the case here, where they're just kind of tax loss harvesting. I don't even know how that would work, actually, because I think everybody was in the green, but I don't know. You have 30 days to get back into another ETF, right? So if they're going to be putting all that money back in, it's going to go in about a month.
In the fact that
Close
Wall
to
Street
having.
came in, and when the ETFs were approved, immediately the price crashed, right? Kind of like welcome to Bitcoin. And then we break all-time highs. And 3 of the last 4 times that we had broken all-time highs, Bitcoin's price had doubled in 18 days or less.
You know, that's a good point, too. When the ETFs were approved, the price crashed, and it was like, welcome to Bitcoin. Exactly what he just said. That's very true. And I feel like nobody's even thinking of that. And then we had the run up, and now we're having a pullback again because people expected it to continue on the upward trajectory, and that's not what happened, right? So I really just think it's the big guy shaking us out.
And all of a sudden we get a 15% drawdown. And so I think one of the lessons of Bitcoin over the last, call it 3-4 years is no one knows what the future is going to be. And we've even violated some of those historical rules that people held kind of as these like holy rules, right? We had never seen Bitcoin go below a previous all-time high. We had never seen Bitcoin hit an all-time high before the halving. Both of those rules got broken. And so I think we're in uncharted territory here. And people have to understand this is like an 80 vol asset that, yes, it's been the best performing asset, but it is very, very volatile all the way up.
Now, again, a lot of this is scheduled bankruptcy sell-offs. We'll get into this, but understanding the full data set so you can make the best decision for you as an investor. Here is the final daily breakdown in Bitcoin.
Real quick, David said you could buy into a different ETF though. No, yeah, you can, but if you're trying to do anything for tax benefit reasons, you have to wait the 30 days. You can sell and buy right back in, but you can't benefit from any tax stuff.
ETF inflows and outflows. In a day when GBTC saw record liquidations to meet bankruptcy obligations of Genesis and others, and when Bitcoin tumbled, BlackRock's ETF saw a surge of inflows. And this shows us ETF demand is relentless and price indiscriminate, meaning for every seller, there's a buyer. Yes, specifically in a one-day span, there was more sellers than buyers, but one of the main buyers was BlackRock. And when we see this big black candle representing Grayscale outflows, this yellow is BlackRock inflows.
Anybody in the world who had an internet connection could have gone and bought Solana for $1 on liquid exchanges. It went up to $250. Those have historically been returns that have been reserved only for private market investors.
Big news involving low cap altcoins. We'll get to this. But best case scenario for Bitcoin is that we consolidate at these levels, building a strong base. If we were to drop down lower, I would expect, or at least look for, have on the radar, a 30% correction up to, which would take us to around a $51,000 Bitcoin. Another metric to consider as Bitcoin has these pullbacks is short-term holder cost basis, meaning the average price over the last 6-ish months for new investors, short-term holders, or people that have only held Bitcoin for the first time under a 6-month time frame. And the cost basis, the average cost of where they bought their Bitcoin, currently $54,000.
Wow.
Bitcoin can drop to $54,000 and bounce back up. And that
I
would
actually have buys in at 54,000.
actually be more bullish to me for Bitcoin's future price trend. Short-term holder cost basis has historically held support during bull runs. If the short-term holder cost basis breaks and price fails to get above it, that's a different story. But Wall Street's not waiting. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy again acquired another 9,245 Bitcoin for around $623 million. The company now holds approximately 214,246 Bitcoins, which is more than 1% of the entire supply.
Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy now holds 1% of all Bitcoin that's ever going to be created. Perfect. Does that concern you?
Not really.
That's amazing. Good for him.
I mean, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, they've owned 1% for a decade or so, give or take. And so there's a number of different organizations or people who have, a percent, 0.5%. What I think is really interesting is as Bitcoin's price has been moving up, there's a report that came out that 1,500 wallets per day were reaching the $1 million threshold. And so,
right. And we don't know if those are individuals. We don't know who those are.
But let's just say, some portion of them are individuals. And so Bitcoin is essentially minting millionaires on the way up.
Now, each circle represents...
That's actually really cool. That's really cool.
Every single time Michael Saylor and his company bought Bitcoin, the larger the circle, the larger the buy. And it's just much, much more expensive to buy Bitcoin today than it was when he first started.
How do you think about what's like the ideal distribution, right? Does everyone in the world get one Bitcoin? Well, there's not enough for that, right? How do you kind of view, okay, if we could perfectly plan distribution? Well, the beauty is this is a free market, right? It is kind of the epitome of what economics and a lot of economic theory has always pontificated about. And so what we're seeing is people are buying Bitcoin at the price they kind of deserve, right? If they've done the work and they understand it, they start to buy it. Their access to capital, right? It's not like Michael Saylor has bought all the Bitcoin with his own money. Actually, I would argue that Michael Saylor doesn't control all that Bitcoin. What happens is he's got debt investors, he's got equity investors, he's got himself, et cetera. And so there's a lot of people who kind of have their hand in the cookie jar of that Bitcoin.
And
He's got his own holdings on the side, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's talk about meme coins.
So I think right now the market story is Bitcoin and meme coins. And frankly, they're both right? That's kind of the crazy part about this market is the Bitcoin investors have been right. We hit a new all-time high. Everything they've been saying is now getting repeated as talking points by some of the most respected people in finance. But on the other end of this, human nature is gambling, right? We have government-sanctioned lotteries, et cetera. And so if I say to someone, hey, there's somebody over there who put $500 in the thing, went to sleep, woke up, and it's now worth $25,000, there's a lot of people in America who say, well, I'm interested in that. But this just isn't an American story. It's a global story. And so we're seeing these meme coins work. Now, again, it's almost like a video game for adults, right? I don't like playing video games that much. I play every once in a while, but I'm not confused as to say that's real life. And I think these financial assets are very similar. The odds that these things actually have real value or are kind of tethered to anything in the real world are very low. But there are people making real money doing this. And I would argue it's no different than what we see in the stock market many times. People are gambling on, zero-day options. Well, if I buy a meme coin or I do a zero-day option, which one has better odds? That's pretty hard to compete.
Yet always with reward comes risk. Solana meme coin Slurf recovers after its 10 million token burn fiasco. So Slurf, a sloth-themed meme coin on the Solana network, raised $10 million in a pre-sale on Monday. However, the developer behind the project ended up losing all received funds after accidentally sending the token to a burn address or one that's not controlled by anyone. Guys, I effed up. I burned the LP and the tokens that were set aside for the airdrop. Mint authority is already revoked, so I cannot mint them. There's nothing I can do to fix this. I am so effing sorry. So what this means is that the main developer, the founder, lost all the pre-sale funds, meaning I think that anybody...
Good, shouldn't have a pre-sale anyways. That's how you get fucking... I like that pre-sales drive me nuts. Coins or pre-sales are just completely off for me.
That sent in funds to get a better value, a pre-sale value, they lost.
But at the end of the day, when they burned all of this coin, that technically means that the value should go up. Just that's how it works. Like if they burn the coins, like there's less coins in circulation, the value should be higher.
Developer deleted those coins.
I'm sure he accidentally did that too.
For some reason, Slurf still has a 400 million market cap. So take this as your warning. Investing in crypto is very risky. I have heard that this wasn't an
I've never even heard of this Slurf meme coin. Have you guys heard about it? Is anybody into that?
accident, that this was intentional, and he's just trying to play it off. If he did just do this for a marketing stunt,
of course he
maybe
did.
we'll never know. As this market develops, make sure you click subscribe.
We'll see that guy on CoffeeZilla in like 3 months.
You do not want to miss a daily video. Also, Aether Cloud announces its first decentralized AI node sale. I was on the whitelist. I did invest in these nodes. Basically, Aether is building scalable, decentralized cloud infrastructure for gaming and AI. What makes them different? Number one, industry recognition. Aether is a NVIDIA Inception program member. NVIDIA.
Oh, Dan R., that's the meme coin you were talking about in the chat? I gotcha.
Obviously a blue chip in the stock market. They have that recognition from them. Number two, network size. Aether's GPU network is 20 times larger than Render network. Number three, compute power. Aether offers 45 times more T-flops than the Akash network. Also, infrastructure investment in hardware. The numbers speak for themselves. Anyway, this is just something I was interested in. I'll always explain to you my reasoning. And if you want to do your own research and take advantage in the node
Public node sale? I don't know what this
feel
is.
free to use promo code altcoin daily.
Yeah, it's a shill. I figured.
Make your own decisions. I plan to meet my Tinder date at this Web3 as a joke roast event. And anybody
What?
who likes comedy, feel
God, all right. We're going to get over this. Anyways, shout out to Altcoin Daily for that. They're just going to be chilling stuff towards the end of this. All right, Bitcoin, $63,747. Guys, stop panicking. Everything's fine. Ethereum, 3362. We are still very high in the market with everything. Everything is looking fantastic. Like, this is normal. This is a normal pullback. Even if it goes down further, don't panic. Just wait. If you bought in higher, oh well, just wait. They'll come back. That's best advice I can give you. All right, let's see. What is this? Slurp? Oh, Slurf. Down 10% this coin. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Until this morning. Let's go to the 1 year. When did it come out? It just came out the other day, or at least just got listed on CoinGecko the other day. Interesting. Market cap 362 million. Wow. Solana meme coin. All the Solana meme coins are like killing it. Just because the transaction fees are stupid low. Nuts. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's see. What was the all-time high on this thing? Go over $1. $1.30. It's $1.30. Ugh, I don't know. Maybe if you want to take a gamble, go for it. But I don't know. I wouldn't. I would just, I don't know. These meme coins, man. I don't know. Went up 750 million in less than 24 hours. Did it really? Jesus. That's crazy. That's crazy. Where can you even sell it? Gate.io, BitGet, MEXC. Yeah, all these second tier exchanges. Orange X, what the hell's that? Never even heard of it. Never even heard of it. Weird. Spot markets. Anyways, guys, don't panic. I don't know. Crazy. But yeah, coins I look at to get into, it's collective different reasons. But yeah, I don't know. I did get some H bar yesterday. Actually, I watched a video on it and I forget where the video is, but I have to find it for you guys. I'll have to look through my history. I watched it last week, I believe, before I left for Kansas. But this, yeah, I don't know. There's some, I guess, optimism around H bar, which is somewhat nice. So I got some yesterday, swapped into it on the Tangent wallet. Super easy way to hold it and swap. So, and it was actually stupid fast. It was like as fast as Caspa swapping it, which is pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited about that. 50 billion in the for the max supply of coins. Right now it's a $3.5 billion market cap. Who knows where it's gonna go. Look up Kevin Holliger stock market cartoon for classic panic. All right, I will look that up, not right now, but I'll check that out after. CCXD, all whiff coins are fully in circulation. No moon. All whiff coins. You talk. Oh, is that why they're so high in value? Oh shit, that's a good point. That's a real good point. Hold on. Does that mean that Slurf one? Does that mean that Slurf one is... Oh, you're right. You're right. I wouldn't even have noticed that. Fully electric. Yeah. No. That's it. Nope. Yeah, these coins definitely not getting into. I didn't even realize that. Whiff. All these whiff coins. There's so many new ones too. Dog whiff scarf. What the fuck, bro? Circulating supply. What's this one? What's this one? I wonder if it's all out. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird to know that all of the coins are in circulation. Yeah, that like, where are these coins gonna go? That's not, no. They're not gonna have gains like Dogecoin and stuff. There's no way. Z whiff hat. What the hell's that? I want to get max whiff hat. That's what we need. Z whiff. Oh, that is. What in the hell is this? Coin Gecko terminal. What is this? What is a Gecko terminal? What is happening? Weird. Very weird. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like huge into meme coins. I'm really not, to be honest. But listen, you guys can make money. Just be careful. I didn't realize they were all in circulation, so that kind of sucks. But anyways, nonetheless, let's get over to Miss Randy Hipper. This is when she goes live, and I got to get out of here back to daddy duty, as you guys know. So appreciate you guys for hanging out with me on the daily grind. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go raid Miss Randy Hipper. Peace out and have a good day.
Each